Why did Yipes move back to New York after going to Cali briefly? Honestly, I haven't talked to Yipes, so I'm not sure. But I imagine it's because he moved over to NorCal and then realized that. So the most important thing for a commentator, I'm gonna just break this down. The most important thing for someone who commentates is it's the same thing as players. So for us, right, man, I got a poofy hair in the back. You guys see that? So, and this is why when people talk about who gets sponsored on the West Coast or the East Coast or whatever, this is an important thing to keep in mind. So when it comes to commentators are much like players in the sense that we have to have a local place to practice, right? We have to have a local place to practice, get exposure, right? Show up to an area where a lot of people are going to see us playing or see us commentating or etc., right? And it's a local place to hone your craft and get better at what you're doing. You know what I mean? So as a player, if you have a local like Wednesday Night Fights or Next Level or whatever, people see you playing week after week after week after week in the same spot, so it's easy for people to be like, man, this guy's pretty good. We've seen him play before, right? But if you're a commentator like Yipes and you move to NorCal where there's not as many dedicated locals happening weekly, it's harder for people to see you. It's harder for you to get practice. It's harder for you to get exposure every single week, right? That's why that unless I'm physically out of the state, I go to Wednesday Night Fights every single week, right? Because no matter how good or bad of a commentator I am, I could always use more practice, you know? This music is so good. So that's how it goes, right? Whether it's like, you know, that's the thing about WNF. I don't always stay till the end because it's so late. In fact, I haven't stayed till the end in a long time. Like this week, I stayed long enough to commentate Guilty Gear, and then I straight left. I was like, this shit is too late, man. But yeah, that's the thing. You need a dedicated local. So if I was Yipes, I would have wanted to stay in the East Coast anyway. I don't know how good of a commentator I am. I talked about this before. I'm not sure how good of a commentator I am. I don't know if I'm like a top like 10 commentator, a top 15, a top 5. I don't know where I am. I'm not sure actually where I stand, and I feel like trying to figure that out is not worth my time because all I care about is trying to be better. But I think that my skill set is better on an analyst desk than it is as a commentator. You know what I mean? And whether it's being an analyst or being the desk host, I think that my skill is better there than as a commentator. Just like sort of naturally. So like if I'm as a commentator, if I'm here in a desk, I feel like I would be here. So if I kept progressing the same way, obviously I'd be better on a desk, you know? That's just how I feel. But it's hard for me to say for sure. But yeah, I honestly don't know how good of a commentator. I don't know. There's so many good commentators and there's so many different, like it's not like a video game where there's 5 attributes and your attributes are balanced, you know, like this. It's like there's like 1,000 attributes that is important when it comes to commentary for a million different reasons. So like figuring out who's good and who's bad, I feel like is not worth your time. Instead, all I want to do is try to be as good as I can, right? And that's basically the strategy. Yeah, Eris doesn't commentate regularly. That's a good point. Also, the thing about Eris, if you ever listen to Eris commentate, he's not really commentating with anybody. No matter who Eris commentates with, Eris is sort of doing his own thing no matter what, right? Eris is always doing his own thing. So no matter who he commentates with, he's not really commentating with them. They're sort of seated next to him while he commentates. You know, he commentates solo. It's like because he's so used to commentating solo, because that's what he does on his stream. You can tell that he doesn't remember how to commentate with someone sometimes. But he makes up for it by being so good. It doesn't really matter, right? We have a few Red Bull matches that we didn't watch. Like, I don't know. I think Eris is probably the best commentator, but like, that's crazy considering what I just mentioned, right? That he commentates sort of like he's solo, and he's still probably the best. It's like it doesn't matter who's next to him. That's crazy. I've commentated with Eris and Z, and I don't know, I like commentating with both of them. Eris and I did a block of Mortal Kombat semis at what's it called? At Combo Breaker. That was sick. Man, it was really fun to do. Who's the best up-and-coming commentator that people don't know about? That's a good question. What's hard to answer about that question is I don't know who people know and don't know about. Who's like the commentator that people don't know about? As a side note, someone just brought this up in the chat. I would love to do a block commentary with Obama, and I don't really care what game it is, but I would love to do a commentary block with Obama. I think that'd be very fun. Best up-and-coming commentator that nobody knows about. It's a hard question to answer. Crackfiend has been around a long time though. Obama's not up-and-coming. Obama's really good. I don't know who's unknown. You know, a lot of these commentators are known now. There's not that many unknown commentators, I don't think. Everybody knows sort of about it. Like, maybe like, no, because he's done a bunch of CPT stuff. I don't know. There are like underrated commentators. Like, I know a lot of people, I think Beiruti is really good. He doesn't do that many events, but I think Beiruti is a really good commentator. Eli the Curry is also really good. Yeah, someone just brought him up in the chat. Eli's in SoCal now, so I would like him to do more commentary. You know, that'd be cool. Drew says, I'd love to see more women commentators. I mean, I'd love to see more commentators in general, right? Men and women. But if nobody wants to commentate, then they don't have to commentate. You can't force it to be like, hey, are you a girl? Boy, you should come do this commentary. Walk up to people on the streets. Hey, fighting game commentators, we need more girls. You should just run on over here. Thank the Lost Grinner for subscribing to the channel. Get on that commentary desk. Handle it. Right? I don't know. You can't just pick people off the streets and be like, hey, you're a girl, commentate fighting games. Yeah, I mean, if there's people interested, it'd be great. We have good commentators who are girls, but I don't know.